when I'm puffing on a potent, silent, but I stay strapped. Gave her wood, now she talking about family tree. You know it ain't that. Ain't got time for the bad bees, dog. I got money on mine. Watch my chain too long, have me nervous. I put money on your mind. The Cali be potent, that girl is a bogus. I can't risk my seed. My heart too low, took L's like fug. Big slime soon free. Had to drop cause the fans they keep asking. You drop trash, had the fans all laughing. Disappeared and I
we call that the little accessory box. But yeah, and it's always nice. Like, I always like a supplier who sends you cool little accessories that you will need. Like, come on man, most companies, you know what we'll need, but you're trying to force us to buy it. Like, give us a starter kit. And then without further ado, we'll get into the bad boy, which is actually quite tightly put into the box. Lovely little beautiful gun, I'm telling you. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Can't say it enough. Beautiful gun. One thing I would say straight off the top about this bad boy is it reminds me of the LT35. The only few differences I would say, and so maybe let me start with similarities. The first couple things I'd say similarities when I first saw this was the outer rail. It's that same short barrel outer rail. It isn't exact because the LT has like this other rail system where it has like a Allen key area right here that has like a bolt going through it, so that's a bit different. This is like a proper M-lock rail, which I find very like interesting because if I'm correct, the Lancer Tactical 35 is their one is polymer. I'm not sure, is this polymer? Yeah, it is polymer, but one thing I will say is it is a really nice feeling polymer. It feels firm. Like, you know when you know a polymer is good when you're questioning, is it metal? Do you kind of get what I'm saying? And that's what I'm doing. Like, it's a good polymer. Most of the gun is polymer, I will say that. I will go on back to similarities. I just want to check, but there is a few metal bits because, like, for example, your flash hider, parts of it, like the internal parts are metal, but the out exterior is polymer. Yeah. So yeah, one thing I will say is this gun is a mixture of polymer and metal. Like, your bolts are metal, your main frame is polymer, your bolts again metal. Like I said, your flash hider is half metal, half polymer. So that like, for me, I feel like sometimes when providers do that, they compromise on the quality often. With this so far, and again, I'm not saying this because I'm getting paid or nothing, but I don't feel like they've done this with this. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? I can see that, and this is just me being a skeptic, innit? I know straight away I'm gonna find issues with it just because it's the mixture of polymer and metal. But that's just me, because I feel like often, and correct me if you guys think I'm wrong in it, but I feel like with airsoft, sometimes, not always, you know, but just sometimes it's better to just go full polymer or just go full metal. Sometimes as well, you can get away with a half and half, but I feel like it's like Formula 1. It's one of them things that it has to be done so perfectly that you rarely ever get it right. Do you kind of get what I'm trying to say? I don't know if you guys know Formula 1, but if you know Formula 1, you'll get what I mean. But yeah, so that's that. But similarity, so like I said, the outer barrel, obviously it's a different setup system, and like I said, I think they've got some kind of, I'm gonna have to learn a bit more about this tubing thing, what it's for. But to my knowledge, I believe it's for the grip. You know, the grip that you screw the thing in. I believe you screw it in and then the two bits slot in there. But again, I might be wrong. It also might be, do you know what? Now I'm looking at it, it might be, no, because the separation, yeah, it actually might be the separation for the outer rail, you know. Because I'm not seeing another area to take off the outer rail. So yeah, maybe it is the separation for the outer rail. So yeah, at some point I'll watch a video of how to take this down, and then I'll do a takedown for you guys. If you request a takedown, I'll basically do one for you, but let me at least do some research before I mess up the gun. But yeah, similarities. The flash hider is probably, nah, their flash hider is smaller. It's spiky as well. It's actually a weird shape, I'm not gonna lie to you, that like it's a tactical. Obviously the chamber, oh, let's not speak about that because that's still different. Similarities. Your sights are polymer. Do you know what? It's probably hard to make a couple. Well, do you know what? There is a few. Like I said, barrel length, outer barrel length as well. So these are similarities. Your sights are not metal, so both of them are plastic. But again, they feel like good plastic. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. Like they feel like good plastic. Even the functionality of that back one feels very quality. I don't know if you can see or hear it as I'm turning it. There's a click, like that feels proper. I've had a lot of sights that, yeah, even the front one, similar thing. Yeah, I've had a lot of sights that when you utilize them, they look the part, but when you touch them, they're very fragile. Like, I'm not gonna lie, these ones feel a bit better than the UTR's ones, but maybe that's me. Maybe I didn't give the UTR ones enough chance. But yeah, so far so good. And then in terms of different, oh okay, and then one more thing that's similar. This little chamber thing is where the battery is housed. I would say it's similar in the fact that they've gone for, like, I'll show you what I mean. Like, they've gone for this like flick out stop. So you click these two buttons at the side, one at that side and one over here, and basically what just happened was it flicked out, and then you're able to put in this first section, and then if you hold it again and move it, you can put it in a second selection, and then I think, if I'm correct, there's one more after that. So if you keep pulling, no, I think it comes off after that. Yeah, do you see? After that it comes off. So in concept it's similar to the LT, because the LT has a similar system where it's like you click this button, I think the button, yeah, you click a button at the bottom and it flicks out to the first setting, and then I think it's a similar thing, it has one more setting after that and then it locks. I feel like what Honey Badger or Double Eagle have done with the Honey Badger is like almost taken a concept that was created by other companies and made it better. Because for example, the shorter, I feel like their barrel is shorter than the barrel in the LT. I'm gonna have to do the specifications because I know these keyboard warriors are gonna get at me about the specifications, but looking at it from my naked eye, cause I've got an LT on my wall, the barrel on this does look a bit smaller. And I say this just because the barrel isn't the whole how would I explain it? The barrel isn't the whole length of what you're seeing right here, whereas on the LT it is. From the, I think it's about roughly about here inside the LT, that's the whole barrel length. It ends literally right at the end of just before the flash hider starts, whereas this isn't that set up that way. I believe it's set up so that the barrel is about this long, if I'm correct, because it ends right at the flash hider, yeah, where it just about starts. So yeah, so straight off the top I feel like they've just added, not that I'm complaining, you know, I'm saying this is a good bloody thing, because even with the LT, like I can see that they've got like this metal frame / spring support system on the inside. I don't know if you guys can see it through the rails, and that's meant to basically help with stability and stabilizing each shot. And even the fact that their barrel is fixed, like there's literally no wobble, it's fixed. So it's like everything that the LT has, this has, but better, if you get what I mean. What else can I speak on? One thing I did like, because I feel like sometimes it's a good thing for some people but a bad thing for some people, to separate the upper and the lower, you basically have to use an Allen key. I like that, and I like that because I basically, all my guns before, there was a gun I bought, what was it, the FO1 from Spectre Arms. It was the first gun in the longest that I bought, I think ever, up until this point. that I bought that wasn't a quick knockout bolt system. And some would say, "Wow, why would you say that?" But I say it because of this. I feel like with the knockout bolt system, because it's so easy to do, you literally just have to line it up, knock it, and then it falls out or pings to the other side, and then you're able to separate your top. You can pull it forwards. You just have to loosen your top chamber and open your seal, basically, just to slide it off. I feel like with that simplicity, you end up opening the gun, or separating the gun, should I say, a lot more than in theory you really should. And sometimes this is how you get just bare different problems, whether it's problems with the nozzle on your gearbox, or whether it's damaging your rail system, how it slides back on, or damaging the spring that holds your charging handle, or whatever it is. Like, I've gone through most of these problems myself, which is why I'm talking about this. Whereas because it's that bit extra harder, you will only open it when you need to, you will only separate it when you need to. And I feel like that's another thing that for me makes this gun, like, yeah man, like, and because they built it good. Like, one thing I did get maybe about probably about 50 shots out of this thing earlier, and one thing I said, like, I laughed after I did this. This is the first gun I've been able to take out the box, literally just load it, put a battery in, and do nothing. I didn't even adjust the hop up. It shoots perfect. Ping, 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 bullseye, bullseye, bullseye. And the good thing I did like was I was able to do that without even using the sights. So the sights were down when I first shot it, which meant I didn't even need the front or the back sight. It was very, very cool. First gun I've ever, don't get me wrong, like, even with the UTR, that had a similar thing, but I did kind of have to tweak it just slightly to get it on point the way I wanted it, if you get what I mean. Whereas with this Strat, I literally haven't done anything, and trust me, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gun. What else can I speak on? The charging handle is nice. I feel like it's the same charging handle they used on the UTR 55. Solid, it feels solid. Is it metal? It feels metal. Yeah, it's metal. So do you see what I'm saying? They've gone for the half and half, which I find is very cool. It's firm, so you can't unlock it from the other side, which is nice. It gives you that realistic feel. One thing I would say about that spring system as well, I like about it, is it reminds me of the UTR 55. And for, like I said, for a fraction of the price. The only thing I would say is where this body is a bit lighter, when it returns you can hear that, whereas I'll maybe have to do another video where I basically address this, or have them side by side and do it. But the return is nice, you know. It's just where the body is slightly lighter and maybe not as heavy as the 5.56. I feel like it feels like, how would I explain it? Not even feels like, but sounds like, it sounds like a heavy bolt hitting in a shallow frame. Whereas on the 5.56, because it's a bit more heavier and compact in terms of its body is a bit more heavier, it's like, it sounds like a full-blown doof, like a more, let me put it this way, more closer to the real gun. Whereas this sounds more like a fake gun, if you get what I mean. Same trick, like same exact system, you know, even down to the slide, same quality black slide, whatnot, even the same hop up, if I'm correct. But I just feel like the 5.56 sounds a bit more nicer when you do that cock release. There isn't any lock-in system, which is kind of expected with these kind of guns. They're more on the earlier budget side kind of thing. You're getting value for money type thing. I'm not gonna adjust the hop up, but yeah, like it should, when I say like I don't even want to add a rating to this, because I'd like to use this myself maybe for a game or two, just so that I could give a full-blown feedback. But from the little 50 rounds I put through it, I would love one of these in my loadout, because it's reliable, straight out the box, it works, it's programmable trigger, it's light. One thing I love about it, it's so light, so like you can literally wave this thing about. Like if you had this as a sidearm, you would you wouldn't even need this at the, well, if you had this a primary, you wouldn't need a sidearm, put it that way. What else? Selector switch is nice. One thing I did like about it is ambidextrous, so it's got both sides. One thing I would say about the ambidextrous is though, be mindful of this, because I found this with my one. If you notice, the selector switch is at an angle on this side. Right there on this side, which is the master switch, this is what you call the master switch, which is with ambidextrous, you tend, it doesn't always work this way, but it tends to be one of the two. You either have a full bolt system that operates with basically like you have two selectors, but they're on one pin. So as you turn one, it's turning the other one. Or you have a system where it's a sub bolt system. So you have one selector, then you have another selector, which is two separate selectors. There's a bolt system, but then there's a hinge system that connects the master bolt to the secondary bolt. So as you turn the master bolt, it then sends some kind of force to turn the secondary bolt. So one thing I would say, because it's not that it's broken, it's just that I need to tighten. So if you notice, there's like a little Allen key. I need to tighten the Allen key just so that the secondary bolt is tightened to the firstary bolt. Because if you notice, like I'm gonna turn the master bolt, it's turning perfectly fine. But you see, if I use the secondary bolt, which is this side, it's a bit more harder to do, and it's because it's just a bit loose. That's all it is. It still turns, still operates fine. Even earlier I was able to use it without any issues. But one thing I would say is be mindful, because this isn't the first thing I listed, which is the master bolt connected to the secondary bolt. This is two separate bolt systems that's trying to talk to each other. So you do want to be mindful of that and keep that tight. I'm going to tighten it up before that game, just so that no damage is actually done to this gun. I might even do it tonight, to be fair, just so that I don't forget. But yeah, so far so good. Which again, that isn't a big thing for me, because that just, if anything, if that's the only thing I can find on this gun, yeah, then 10/10, because yeah, I'm saying if that's really the only thing I could find. But yeah, so we're gonna chuck that back in. One thing I would say is that could have been a bit better, because I feel like sometimes getting this to close can be a bit hard. Like if you don't put it in the right place, like you're seeing right now, it won't close. It's like you have to tap it in the middle or else it won't close. Like I'll show you again. So if I put it from that side, it won't close. If I put it from that side, it won't close. You have to put it from that middle section and it will close. So that's one thing I would say. What else can I show you guys? So mag, like I said, they went for a quality mag, and I think it works, because look, straight in, no jolts, no nothing. Gun is so firm every time. There's no wobbling and finding. One thing I would say, and again with this, I would say this is slightly better than my 5.56, just because there is some mags that with my 5.56, as much as it basically will use all the mags will fit.
Past actions, ish I had to do. If we unified, we overcome slavery. Many think it, I just say it, call it bravery. Young, progressive and black, you know they hate to see independent. I don't care what labels could pay a G. So much leng past my lung. Private company feeding us GMO foods, they wanting us trapped. My young boy just came home for a booting. That young nigga tapped. Can't be slipping when I'm puffing on a potent, silent, but I stay strapped. Gave her wood, now she talking about family tree. You know it ain't that. Ain't got time for the bad bees, dog. I got money on mine. Watch my chain too long, have me nervous. I put money on your mind. The Cali be potent, that girl is a bogus. I can't risk my seed. My heart too low, took L's like fug. Big slime soon free. Had to drop cause the fans they keep asking. You drop trash, had the fans all laughing. Disappeared and I